I'm Nikki Noonan from the Standard Issue podcast, and I'm joined by...
I'm Hannah Dunleavy.
Oh, no facts?
Oh,
I don't know if
OK.
you had to do a fact about yourself. I'm Sarah Millican. I have no facts. That's my fact.
Jen, all the facts are on you.
I'm Jen Offord, and do I have to? Must I?
No.
That's how she starts every working week.
I have to. Must I?
So there must be some people who are watching who bafflingly are like, Standard, what? What? So, Sarah, how and why did you start Standard Issue?
So, because I travel a lot, and before I could drive, I used to be on constant trains, standing in train station, news agents, usually a WH Smith's or equivalent, and I'd be standing looking at the women's magazines and couldn't find anything for me because I don't like cross-stitch. I would buy film magazines sometimes, but none of the women's magazines ever appealed to me. And I was thinking, if they don't appeal to me, maybe there's other women who are also looking, going, I don't care whether I'm an apple or a pear and whether I should wear white jeans. I don't care about any of those things. So I thought maybe there was a gap for something there. And so that was happening, kind of percolating for a while. And then also I had a chat with the late, great Annabelle Giles, very good friend of mine. And she was basically saying, oh, when women get to a certain age, these people aren't really interested in the media with women anymore. And I thought, well, that seems ridiculous, because like when women are at their like smartest and most like fuck off, you know, and and also just most experienced, and you know, that's when you go, oh, not for you anymore. And I felt that was ridiculous. So I kind of worked that maybe there was something we could do with the two things. And then I took you out for lunch and I sort of went, is this the thing? Could we do a thing where maybe there was a magazine, an online magazine that existed that would appeal to all of the women in my kind of category who were looking at the magazines and thinking there's nothing for me? And you said,
Yes. Yes.
Thank God. I mean, it wasn't even that good a lunch.
Can you imagine if
I
I'd
could
just
even
gone,
persuade
no.
you with dinner.
There were no other women like you.
It's just you. We love cross-stitch. And then it just grew from there as an idea of providing a healthy alternative, something that would maybe interest women who weren't interested so much in, you know, I like lipsticks and I like clothes, but it's such a small part of my day. Such a small part of my day.
So I wonder, how do you think the world has improved for women in the 10 years since we've been doing this? Women's sport's a good place to start, right?
Yeah, massively. I mean, it's totally different. You know, people actually talk about it now. It exists. It's, you know, it gets a sort of tiny amount of room on the BBC Sport landing page every now and again. And I think, you know, the Lionesses is the best possible example of this. And I think one of the things that we see with the Lionesses, which I think is really kind of heartening, is the way that even people who don't really give a shit about football, or, you know, women's football, men's football, whatever, a lot of women have sort of really attached themselves to that success story and see it almost as like a women's movement rather than just being about football. So, yeah, like, it's totally different now to how it was 10 years ago. And again, I'm going to say, you know, we were at the forefront of that.
I can remember when we did one of our live shows and we had Sally Wainwright and Wunmi Masaku on it. And I said, things are getting better for women on telly, right? And Sally Wainwright said, things are getting better for white women on telly. You know, not necessarily for everybody. And she said, there has still not been, I think this was like 2014. No, it wouldn't have been 2014. Maybe about 2018, this gigcast was. And she said, you know, come back to me when there's been a woman of colour front a primetime ITV drama. And there has been. And it was fronted by Wunmi.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is demonstrative progress that has happened in the period that we've been doing. I'm not taking credit for it.
Should we say more things and see if in a few years' time they come true?
Yeah.
So when we started Standard Issue as an online magazine in 2014, we got a load of brilliant women to answer the same question. And we had it in a little, quite flash, fancy bar that moved and showed all their answers.
You're so technical. In a fancy bar that moved and...
Who would have thought I had never done this before, Sarah? And the question was, what is the best thing about being a woman? So I put it to you three women here today, what is the best thing about being a woman?
Oh, God, the best thing.
I can remember the answer I gave, actually.
Has
Oh,
it
what was
changed?
it?
Is it the same?
Yeah, no,
Is it the
it'd be
same?
exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like a challenge.
You like a challenge?
I like a challenge, yeah.
What, and you think being a woman is a challenge?
I think it's more interesting and varied and exciting as a life experience than being a man. Apologies to anyone listening to this who is a man. I think life is more challenging, but I would not want to be... In the same way, in the answer to a question, would I like to have been born wealthy? You know, I mean, probably not. Actually, I think I would be a less well-rounded human being had I been born wealthy. And I think also there's a serious risk that if I had been born a man, I would have been a massive prick. So, yeah. Yeah.
Did Sarah just lick her lips at you?
Excuse me.
My arm is just twitching.
Is that a penis?
I feel like you answered the question, what's the best thing about being Hannah Dunleavy? And I like that. I like it.
It's good enough, good enough.
Totally.
Can I be boring?
I doubt it, but try.
Oh, no. I just like women. I like being around women. I like the company of women. I think because I worked in the civil service for so long, you know, there's loads of women. And there'll be like two blokes. And one of them, I don't know if this is the same for all
They'll be the
officers.
only ones that get promoted.
Actually, no, the men really kept themselves down and the women were all fighting to get up. We had one bloke who'd have tea breaks and poo breaks, and another bloke who nobody liked but was quiet and diligent and carried on with his work. But because then when I went into comedy, there was just such a scarcity. I'd be the one on the bill, and that would be it. And now there's, you know, as I got on, there's probably maybe two sometimes, but mostly still one, that I just created all these little female-heavy environments. So obviously Standard Issue was the main one, but also I run a little gig in Stafford called Playground, which is always at least 50% women. And I just have always tried to have these little places where when I go in, there's just loads of women there. And it just makes me happy. I love female company. I love, you know... And it's not like, I mean, I guess it is a group of friends all being out, but just one-on-ones and I just like spending time with women. And I just don't think that's the same if you're a bloke. Spending time with a woman is a different thing.
Yeah.
Mickey?
I think the company of women is amazing, and I think specifically no dissing of the ute, and I hope that they grow up to be like us. And I can feel that the society still wants to put a distance between young women and middle-aged women, and that's because we know too fucking much. And I love that. I love that kind of knowingness and that confidence. I wouldn't say I give 0 fucks, but I sort of challenge myself on the fucks I give now, and I'm like, why am I bothered about that? And there's usually, the answer is probably patriarchy. It's as simple as that. So yeah, maybe I should stop. But yeah, that company of brilliant, confident women that is growing as I get older is the best thing about being a woman. And younger me always had male friends, just loads and loads of male friends. And I'm still very lucky to have some great male friends. But yeah, there's something very special about the company of women, I think.
Agreed. Jen?
I mean, similar answer, really. Yeah, just...
You grew one.
Yeah, you
Yeah, exactly, I agree one, yeah. So that...
Your vagina?
I don't think she grew there. I think she grew there.
Did you copy any
she
tips
came
out
of
about
there,
childbirth?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think... yeah, so I sort of related to that, really, is the best thing about being a mum is, apart from your children, obviously, and sometimes it's not even them, to be honest, but when they wake you up at 5 a.m, very close to your face. Yeah, no, it's other mums. And that sort of community and having other people that you can chat to who, I guess when you think about how things have improved for women in the last 10 years, I think there's loads more chat about like the challenges of being a mum and growing small people.
And stuff that makes you feel normal.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
standard in a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah.
Stuff that I think would have, if like an older generation must have really, really struggled to not have that kind of outlet or not have that sort of, you know, not be able to say those things, I guess. So I think, yeah, that I always sort of come back to that point when I'm thinking about being a mum. The best thing about it, other than my daughter, is the other mums that I get to meet.
Nice. I feel like we should wrap up by telling the people who are watching where they can listen to Standard Issue. Should I do that?
Yeah, please.
So Standard Issue is available on Spotify, and basically all of the places you can get any podcasts, which I think there's like 400 now. Maybe by the time you watch this, you can just do it in your eyes and your ears and you can just tune it in. But we've been going for how long? So 10 years for entirety, but how long podcast?
7.
7, wowzers. So
Yeah.
there's lots of stuff to catch up on and have a listen. And it's not even weekly. It used to be weekly. It's daily, which is incredible. But
What
these
have we
guys are
done?
absolutely fucked. So please listen. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I've just remembered a splash from one of those women's magazines, like a Bella or something like that. The ones that are kind of like crazy stories, like, they made a
Married a
penis out of my
tortoise.
leg, that kind of thing.
Penis out of my leg.
Or that kind of thing.
That is too big, Mickey.
my favourite one-
True story. A friend
You
of mine.
made a penis out of
A
your
friend of mine did interview a man who had a new penis grown on his arm.
A new
That's what I mean by hard news, Sarah. Just to clarify.
Open
one.
straw,
It's all the
drink whiskey.
serious.
Is that like when they grew an ear on a mouse's back?
Yeah. But
What kind of men have you been dating, Jen?
That's
Had
so...
a penis on his arm.
And did they just leave it on? Did it just... Was it just
Well,
like...
there was
you
a
had to
photo
wear
of
long
it,
sleeves
but it was
for a long
blurred,
time?
so the
Oh,
photo
that's
wasn't
no-
much
pixelated.
used. Yeah, it was pixelated.
Can we be
It's
sure?
a party trick.
Can we be sure it was real? If we've never
Was
seen
it
any
wouldn't have
evidence
been
of it.
functioning, though. Sorry, we might have got a bit distracted. It wouldn't have been functioning.
Was it like a new thing when he went, pull my finger?
I mean, I'll Google it. and
Please
send you
report
more
back your
information.
findings. I'd like some links,
Yeah,
at least.
yeah.
Oh, well, the headline I was going to remember wasn't as exciting, but it was just the kind of thing that derides women, but it did make me laugh, which was Vanessa Feltz. Friends worry she's drinking custard again.
Friends applaud her drinking custard again. Not friends worry. Friends applaud.
I just really want to drink a custard now. It's lovely, isn't it?
It's such a weird thing. Also, which friends are writing to Bella or ringing,
Take a break.
texting, take
She's
a
on
break?
the custard again.
She's on the custard. I can't leave the woman alone.
If you can't just have a nice, quiet drink of custard.
It's so
A
brass
pint
eye,
or
isn't
two
it?
of custard. It doesn't make it sound like custard is something else.
Yeah.
For sure.